Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at Corsair's HS70 Pro wireless headset. Is it right for you? Is it worth shelling out nearly £100? Well, let's find out. Okay, so in today's video we're taking a look at Corsair's HS70 Pro wireless headset. These ones here. This is the cream version. There are two versions of this. You get it in carbon, which is basically a blacked out version, or you get the one with the cream headband, which no doubt you've probably already seen from some of the B-roll which I've been posting. And these have been sent to us for review purposes by Ugly Bob, once again. They're actually his own headphones, so he just sent them to me first of all to check out, see what I think of them, and then we're going to send them back to Bob so he can enjoy them himself. And enjoy them he may well do, because these are actually a fantastic set of headphones. If you're looking for a premium set of cans to enjoy movies, music, using Discord, or obviously for gaming, then these are definitely worth a look. Now, I've been testing these out for the last couple of days, and we're going to go through, do an unboxing, go through my findings, some of the things I liked, some of the things I disliked, specifications, all that kind of usual stuff, and also some practical sound tests so you can hear what the microphone is like. And then at the end, well, hell, you can make up your own damn minds. So first of all, let's go through, do an unboxing, go through the specs, and also discuss the price in a little bit more detail. So price-wise, first of all, let's get on straight out the gate. These in the UK retail for normally around about £99. You can pick them up quite often on sale for maybe $89.99 or sometimes a little bit less than that. Also as well, Corsair have their refurbished site as well, so you can pick these up for closer to 70, which may be an option for somebody who's a little bit more cash strapped. Although saying that, if you're spending £70 to £90 on a set of headphones, yeah, you ain't that cash strapped, let's be honest. Anyway, let's take a look at the packaging. So packaging wise, yeah, pretty much the usual deal from Corsair. So we've got splashes of yellow on the side of the box there, and it's got never miss a beat. So let's take a look at some of the specifications and some of the features mentioned on the box. So first of all, we've got the fact that there is plush memory foam adjustable ear cups, custom line 50mm neodymium audio drivers, and low latency 2.4 GHz wireless with up to 16 hours of battery life. Also as well, detachable noise cancelling unidirectional microphone, and immersive 7.1 surround sound on PC. So that is something which you probably want to look at first of all. If you're looking for a 7.1 audio experience on your PS4, then you ain't going to get it. This is for PC only, so you can use either Windows built-in spatial sound, or alternatively you can install the iCUE software. There is version 4 of that out now, which this does work with, which we'll take a look at a little bit later, and you can enable it. I've got to be honest with you, the difference between the 7.1 and the 2.0, there doesn't seem to be a massive amount of difference. Both of them sound absolutely fantastic, and listening to certain 8D audio tracks, the position audio is fantastic with these, so I don't think you have to worry too much about the 7.1 or the 2.0. Generally in the software as well, there is an option on PC, so it can automatically detect what is best for you, which again, you can use if you wish to. But certainly 7.1, they're not technically, although they are virtually. Connection-wise to your PC or PS4 is done via a USB Type-A connection. There is a dongle which is included, which we'll take a look at when we do the unboxing, and you just put that into your PS4 or your PC. There's no synchronization to do, it's all done straight out of the factory, so one potential issue you may find is if you lose your dongle, that's the best part of 100 quid's worth of headphones up the Swanee, so that is one thing which is a little bit of a downside. Also as well, specification-wise, this is Wi-Fi, but that is it. There is no option to connect these as a wired device via USB, 3.5mm jack or any other method. Bluetooth is also out of the question. So literally there is only one way to connect these, and that is via that dongle. So yeah, do bear that in mind. I'll quickly draw through the rest of the specs which I'll put on the screen for you now. So wireless range is up to 40 feet. I'll actually say wireless range isn't great. I plugged into my PC, which is over here, walked into the kitchen. There's a few brick walls in the way, only one, maybe two. And I did lose signal when I was looking at what was cooking on the stove, so the range isn't, well, that isn't 40 feet anyway, it's about 30, so yeah. These aren't designed to be walked around like Bluetooth that much, so yeah, really, if you're desk bound, it's going to be absolutely fine. Battery life, as we said, up to 16 hours, around about an hour and a half, 2 hours to charge on the micro USB. You've got the 50mm neodymium custom drivers, which are actually frequency tuned as well to each other, which is something which you don't normally get on kind of mid-range headsets. Normally that is kind of the upper tier, but certainly nice inclusion. Frequency response is 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz, so you're going to get those really nice deep rumbles around about that 20 Hz frequency range. Impedance is 32 ohms at 1 kHz. Sensitivity is 111 dB, plus or minus 3 dB. and the driver's 50 mils, we said, unidirectional microphone, yada yada yada, etc, etc. It's on the screen, you can read it for yourselves. So that is the specifications. Let's take a look and see what we actually get in the box. So taking a look inside the packaging, first of all we're greeted with a user manual, which is always a good thing to see, and inside actually there's not really a great deal else. There is a little pocket here, which is full of your accessories. So inside of here normally you'd have your little microphone pop filter, and also the detachable microphone as well, which is on this flexible boom stalk, so that's all really nice. Also included is USB Type A to a micro USB cable for charging purposes. And last of all, we have our wireless dongle. So actually quite a decent big size one, so the antenna in there should be okay. I've got to be honest with you, I'd prefer to see this being slightly smaller, although I guess like we said earlier, potentially there is an issue where you may actually lose it. Certainly with it being this big, there's a potential that if it's in your PC, if it's in maybe a top port, there's quite a potential you could actually break the port or break the actual stick itself. This is the weakest part in the entire system in my opinion, although also as well it's one of the main selling features. And last of all we get the headset itself, which is a very premium feeling quality. It's finished in a kind of like a satin matte black, as we tend to see these days. So we'll go through some of the actual kind of plastics and different materials that are used here. So let's start with the headband on the top. So on the top we've got this kind of PU leather with the Corsair logo embossed into it. A really nice feature, especially if you go for the cream version as opposed to the carbon version. You get this really nice contrasting cream coloured kind of PU leather here, which does feel particularly nice. All of the spongy type sections are done with memory foam, so there's a really nice feeling to them. There is quite a bit of stiffness to the headband, but not too much. Clamping force is absolutely fine. Moving down, you've got kind of plastics around here, which again, plastic is plastic. There's not really a great deal you can do with it, but it does feel quite premium. And actually, because of the way they finished the plastic, it does almost have a kind of metal look to it. And certainly when you transition from the kind of PU leather down through the plastic and into the metal, all of the kind of the look of it all looks the same, it all looks very similar. So there's a really nice design ethic all through this, which is included right down to the actual drivers themselves, which are enclosed in here. Now the one thing which is a little bit odd, this bit here, the grille section with the Corsair logo, is purely cosmetic. These are sealed drivers, so that is not ventilation. Don't be misled, they are sealed drivers, but I think it does still look quite nice and certainly better than a piece of plain plastic. Gives it a little bit touch of class. Also as well, there's a very, very small inner ring there as well, which is designed to kind of emphasize or go along with the headband itself. On the carbon version of these, that is black, as is the kind of leather section at the top here. So moving down to the actual drivers themselves, these are 50mm drivers, as we said. They are tuned as well. One thing I really like about this is the way that they've designed the actual ear cups. So the ear cups themselves, as you can see, they're oval. Now most people have got oval shaped ears, pretty much. So it's obviously a long more than it is wide. So when you get headphones which are round or circular, they're not really designed to be over ear, whereas these, because they've got that length to them, pretty much for most people, unless you've got particularly large ears, you should be absolutely fine. I would consider my ears to be relatively normal sized, if that is a thing these days, but they fitted in there and it's extremely comfortable. The padding on the sides here is very, very thick, the memory foam. And because the clamping pressure and the actual material that's used here, even though it is a PU leather, it's a high grade PU leather, and even using it for about 3 or 4 hours yesterday in one continual stretch, they were absolutely fine, didn't get sweaty, didn't get very hot, and at the moment this is our kind of summertime, so it is getting a little bit warmer, a little bit more humidity, but didn't find them to be very sweaty, so that is a definite plus point. Also another plus point is on the side we've got a little bit of adjustment as well, so if the default size isn't quite enough for you, then you can extend it down, and that is actually on both sides as well. And these actually do stick into place. So once you've actually worked out what your actual measurement is on the actual included, almost like a tape measure on the side, so it can tell you which side it is, you can actually work it out and it stays in place. It's a very, very precise, very, very good adjustment on there. That's one of the things that does upset me sometimes with some headphones, that you get them just perfect, so there's not too much pressure on the top of your head, not too much side pressure, and you work out what the settings are and then you put them away or put them in a box and they go like that, and you've lost your settings, so you're kind of wiggling them around all the time. Whereas these, you can set them up, put them down on the desk, move them around, and they're going to stay exactly where they are, which is awesome. Moving down a little bit further, we've got our connectivity, which, yeah, Connectivity is potentially an issue. Like I said before, these are purely USB connection via that USB dongle. So even though there is a USB port on there, that is purely for charging. It does not work as a USB kind of tether or audio device. That potentially is a problem for a lot of people. I would have loved to have seen these being able to be used over a 3.5mm jack, or that as just a USB connection to use them when the battery's flat, that kind of thing. That would be awesome. But for some reason they decided to omit that. Whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing, I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. So anyway, we've got our USB connection on the bottom, which is a micro USB. I know these are originally from kind of like 2019, I think it was. I think the whole PC race has moved on since then. And I think really these now should be updated to USB Type-C. I really think they do. Micro USB has been great to us. It's been very good to use. It's a small connection, etc, etc. You can get the cables pretty much anywhere, but it's still that fiddly thing of which way round does it go, all that kind of stuff. This needs to be USB Type-C in either a revised model or a newer version of this headset. I think micro USB has had its day. Although, again, it's only for about an hour or so charging, so yeah, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, would have been nice to have seen. Next to that, there's also a power LED. So when you're charging, it's on orange. When it's charged, it's green. When it's low on battery, flashing green. When it's in use, it's not on, so that's all really good. Next to that is a little blanking plug, which is where the microphone plugs in. So you can grab your microphone, and it is one of those devices which only fits in one way, so you're not going to accidentally break it. That just pushes in and fits in nicely. Slight shame that the actual microphone is a different kind of plastic or rubber than the headset itself, so it does kind of look like it's not really designed to go with it, even though I guess it must be because of the type of connection. A very minor thing, but certainly is worth mentioning. So default connection there, you've got the mic mute button there. So the mic mute button's got two versions on it. So press it once, mutes the mic, simple stuff. Press it again, it will unmute the mic. If you press it for a couple of seconds, hold it, then it actually mutes the kind of like the feedback loop. So there is actually a feature in the software where there is like a feedback loop, so you can actually hear what's going on around you, almost like the kind of passive mode in AirPods, that kind of thing. So you can hear a little bit of what's going on around you, a little bit of feedback, monitor your own voice, that kind of thing. So long press turns that on or off. Again, there are voice prompts as well, which you can turn or turn off. I kind of like the voice prompts, so at least you know what exactly it is. Otherwise, it's kind of like a ding noise, which means very little to anybody. Next up is the volume control, which is a traditional wheel type. So analog control there. No markings whatsoever on the wheel, so you can't really tell what volume your level is set to, which again for £100 set of headphones isn't great, I suppose, but it's functional, it does what it's meant to do. It doesn't move on its own, so you do have to give it a little bit of a force to move it. The wheel itself does feel a little bit on the cheap side, if I'm completely honest. It feels like something that you'd get on maybe one of those cheap AM, FM radios for tuning, that sort of stuff. It's not a particularly premium feel, which I feel for a £100 set of headphones probably should have been done a little bit better, but certainly it's very functional and it's very tactile, the whole thing. So when you're using it, all the controls kind of, they fall into place. So when you're actually wearing it, it's very comfortable and everything is pretty much where you expect it to be. So it is a very tactile experience, just for that particular side of it, not a particularly premium one. Moving right on to the other side, so there is just a single button here, which is our power button. So you press it and hold it to turn it on, and you get a ding noise coming through the headphones to say it's on, etc. And flashing green light if there's no USB connected, that sort of stuff. And press and hold again. And there's a da-dung, which means it's turned off. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. The ear cups themselves got a little bit of flex to them for adjustment purposes, so not a great deal there, but I think it's more than enough due to the padding that you've got on there. Also as well, there's a little bit of a wiggle room there for the shape of head, so if you've got particularly largest heads, these are going to cushion your ears pretty nicely. Overall, they do feel actually extremely comfortable. I'd say the one thing which I've noticed more than anything of this, other than the sound quality, which we'll talk about shortly, is the feeling of it. There's something to be said for a pair of headphones where they actually feel like you're not wearing them after a while. When you get actually used to it, it's a very unusual feeling, especially if you're listening to 8D audio, where the audio is all around you and you don't actually realise that you're wearing headphones anymore. It's a very Very, very strange experience. I suggest you test it out for yourselves. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get on to the iCUE software and take a look inside of that. Okay, so this is the iCUE software. This is iCUE version 4.0, I think it is. And I've not got any other Corsair stuff on the laptop, so this is going to make it very easy. So first of all, you can see there, you've got the HS70 Pro Wireless. It tells you things like your EQ, which is set to. So at the moment we're on EQ Pure Direct, which actually of all of the EQs I find to be the best one. It's the most natural sounding in my opinion. Also as well, you've got your battery levels and a picture of the actual device itself. So if you click on that, you can go into more deeper settings. You can change the picture, which is on the profile. Yeah, not the sort of thing that most people will do, I guess, but anyway. So we've got equalizer in there, we've got the mic volume you can adjust now, or you can mute manually. You've got the side tone as well, which is what we were talking about earlier. So if we turn that on, you've got your side tone, so you can hear kind of feedback from the microphone, that sort of thing, which actually could be useful for some gamers. Also as well, you've got auto audio repositioning, which you can just about see there at the bottom. Let me just move this up a little bit. So currently it's set to 7-point surround sound, or you can turn that on and off, all that kind of stuff. Change it from stereo to 7.1 or automatic, again, entirely up to you, whichever you do. EQ presets, you can make up your own, so you can add a preset, click on the plus button. If not, you've got those 5 which are pre-installed, so movie theatre, Pure Direct, FPS competition, clear chat, which is currently disabled because I've added a new other one, and you've got bass boost, all that kind of stuff. So we'll go for Pure Direct because I kind of like that. These EQs, you can copy them or delete them, do whatever you want with them. So that's all pretty good, and also you can move the sliders around and play with them to your heart's content. Obviously not in Pure Direct, but when you do your custom, you can move all those around. You can link the sliders, all that kind of usual thing. Also as well, you've got device settings as well, so you've got the firmware, you can check for updates, we're on the latest one. Battery status, this is the only place actually where you do get your battery status, which kind of is a little bit annoying, but I guess with wireless devices, that is a thing these days, so there's not really that many other ways they could do it, apart from some sort of readout maybe in the taskbar. That would have been nice. You can choose which colour you've got, so if you've got the carbon or the cream, so it looks right on your desktop. Very, very pointless, but it's certainly in there. Voice prompts you can turn on or off. I prefer to have them on personally. And you've got enable auto shut off. Enable auto shut off is something that you're probably definitely going to be taking a look at. It's really annoying because sometimes you turn them on, and because there's no audio coming from your desktop or whatever for 5 minutes, it thinks you're not doing or not using them anymore, so they automatically shut off to conserve power, which can be a pain in the backside, or it could be brilliant. If you're on maybe a Discord call and you're not talking for 5 minutes, which potentially could happen, depends who you're talking to. I know there's some of us on Discord which could probably qualify for that. But certainly, yeah, if they turn off halfway through, it's going to be a real pain in the ass. So yeah, I would leave that turned off or change the time setting. Again, entirely up to you, just my recommendations there. So that is it pretty much for the actual application itself. You have got some other things there, like general settings, which is for the actual iCUE software itself. So nothing really else other in there. You don't have to use the iCUE software, you can just plug them in and they will work in Windows, and you can use Windows Spatial Sound, all that kind of stuff. I've tested both and there doesn't really seem to be much difference between the two, if I'm completely honest with you. Sound quality, I would say, is identical, and also as well in terms of the microphone sounds identical whether you're on the software or whether you're just using USB plugged in. So yeah, use it if you want to. If you're not into the Corsair thing, then obviously disregard it entirely. So talking of the sound quality, let's quickly go through and we'll check out 2 versions of audio tests we've done with a microphone. One of which is the first one, which is going to be from an OBS recording using this device here. Microphone straight from there. Again, you'll know more about that from the video. And then also we'll do the Discord one. Listen to them both. Tell me if you can see a difference between the Discord version and the OBS version. The Discord one, in theory, should be slightly better. But anyway, here we go. Let me know what you think. Okay, so this is a sound test of the Corsair HX70 Pro Wireless. This is the Cream Edition, as you can see, and the microphone here is set to 100% in the iCUE software, and we're currently using OBS to record this. I've got the OBS level set to approximately about 3/4 of the full gain, so hopefully it should be coming through nice, crispy, clear. There is voice or noise cancelling on this, so it's omnidirectional or unidirectional, I guess you'd call it. So basically it's facing towards my mouth, so it may be picking up things like plosives, although there is some kind of noise cancellation built into the software, I believe. So hopefully again it should sound very, very nicely. So this is a sound recording in OBS's studio.
Now let's try it through Discord. We'll record a Discord chat and see what it actually sounds like in that. Hopefully it sounds pretty good, being well, it's Discord certified, so it should do. Also as well, there are cats eating out of the cat bowl behind me. I've got the PC running behind me, so the fan noise, etc. This is a normal living room. The windows are open. It's summertime, so maybe you can hear the birds chirping away. I don't know. I'm gonna have to listen back to this and see what it's actually like. So let's move on to the sound test in Discord. Okay, so this is a sound test of the Logitech HS70 Pro. This is their wireless headset, and we're currently using Discord in the private room on our Discord chat server. Audio bitrate set to 128 bits, and yeah, should sound really, really nicely. This is a Discord compatible microphone, so it should sound absolutely crispy. All the volume levels and stuff like that I'll put on the screen so you can see what's going on there, and hopefully the audio is coming through nice and crisp and clear. Obviously, there is a mute button on here if you want to mute yourself. Just quickly press the mute button, if I can find it. Actually, it's interesting to see if there's any static noise coming through while I'm actually touching the headphones or the boot. Probably is a little bit coming through there. Let's quickly mute, and it gives you the mic on and mic off notifications. So hopefully this sounds pretty good. Let's review the footage and, well, review the audio and see what it's actually like.
So there's a sound test. Again, let us know in the comment section which one you felt was better, whether you felt they were exactly the same, or obviously at the moment I've got a little bit of a cold going on, so my voice doesn't sound as it normally does, or at least to me it doesn't anyway. So yeah, do take that into consideration. Let me know which you think is better. I think the Discord one actually sounded better after listening back to it very quickly, but until I actually edit the whole video I won't know for sure when I get the levels EQ'd, all that kind of stuff for actual volume. Then I'll know for sure, but certainly from what I can tell initially, Discord did sound better. Now let's get on to the real kind of bones of this. What do they actually sound like? Now, obviously sound is an extremely, extremely subjective thing. What may sound good to me may not sound good to you. I personally like quite a bass-rich soundstage. I like the rest of it to be relatively neutral, but I like the bass to be a little bit overinflated. Now these, in that respect, are perfect. Because you've got those 50mm drivers in there, it does give you a little bit more air pressure, and certainly because there is really good tension on these and the air cups are really good, it does really give you that nice isolation and also gives you those really low bass frequencies. Now I've done the usual suite of tests which I do on this, so I listen to various different types of music, and actually this is one of the few headsets which I found myself listening to more music than I actually would normally because I was enjoying it so much. The sound quality is excellent and the bass reproduction is great. I even watched a slightly older movie, Revenant I think it's called, or something like that, and it was actually really enjoyable. It was a crap movie, I didn't enjoy the movie particularly, but the sound was excellent, and all the kind of spatial stuff, the woods, the trees, animals, etc, etc, absolutely brilliant, loved it. So if you're into your movies and you like that kind of really immersive experience, then these are going to be right up your street. When it comes to gaming, obviously for gaming you can set the profiles for EQs, so certain things sound better, so you might pick up footsteps more than you might other things. But certainly for gaming, in general purposes, I would say, because the elevated bass, as its general profile, is going to sound really good, really bombastic bass. So if you're playing kind of car games and you're crashing and revving and all that kind of stuff, it's going to sound absolutely fantastic. Again, you can choose or tailor the EQ to your exact preferences. So if you don't like that kind of bassy sound, then you can change it to do whatever you want to. But I would say overall, volume-wise, plenty of volume there, and even at 100% or whatever that is when it's on the full amount of the wheel, they still sound great. There's a very, very limited amount of distortion, even at those high levels. There is a little bit, I'll be honest. It's not entirely perfect in that respect, but certainly does a fantastic job. And again, compared against other headphones I've tested, which have been maybe 150, 200 pounds, these do actually come out fighting and compete pretty well. So sound quality overall, I'd say 9 out of 10, easily. Easily 9 out of 10. For me, the sound profile for these is almost perfect, apart from I would have liked maybe a little bit more bass in certain instances, but possibly a little bit more volume, but it's kind of almost at crazy levels anyway. There is a test which I use on all the headphones, which is an old track called LFO by a band called LFO, and it's got some low frequency oscillation, hence LFO, and there is a section about 45 seconds in, I think it is, where these actually are painful to wear, especially at around about 50% volume or higher. So yeah, they can do some damage. They are pretty powerful, they've got a little bit of grunt to them. So certainly if that is the sort of thing you like, then yeah, I think these are going to fit the bill. They do cover most bases. So for communications, yes, absolutely fine. For movies, brilliant, no problem. For games, etc., yeah, no issues at all. I can't really say that there's anything actually in the audio terms that I dislike about them, which is quite unusual for me. So let's talk about some of the things I do actually dislike about this headset. Now, dislike is probably a strong word, things I'd possibly like to have seen done differently. So the first one, as we said earlier on, is the micro USB. That really should be USB Type-C by now. I would have liked to have seen also an option for a 3.5mm jack, or having a USB pass-through to connect up as a USB set of headphones. That just makes sense. It's a backup. If you lose your dongle, realistically you're knackered. So that is definitely something which is going to be something I would concern me. I would certainly look potentially at other options purely for that case. I think having only that USB stick as an option is a little bit risky, especially when you're spending this much money on a set of headphones. They are factory paired, so I don't believe that you can just buy these dongles straight off, otherwise everyone's headphones would work with everyone else's. They're encrypted, all that kind of stuff. So I think that is going to be it. Much like some of the Microsoft early keyboards, the wireless desk sets, etc. If you lose a dongle, chuck the keyboard away because it's going to be useless. And I fear that is going to be the same with these. Other than that, I don't think there's anything really inherently wrong with them. They sound fantastic, they feel extremely comfortable, they're loud. I would say they're probably at about the right price, maybe a little bit cheaper, maybe £80, £90. £100 is that kind of magic figure where you start moving into that different kind of arena of headsets. Although saying that, again, compared with some of the more expensive ones we've used from Creative, etc., these actually sound very similar, if not as good, if maybe even better in some instances, especially due to those larger drivers. So anyway, I've probably waffled on way too long. Hopefully I've covered all of the points in this video which need addressing or were helpful to you in your buying decisions. If there's anything I've missed out, do let me know in those comments section and I will try and answer them as quickly as possible. But overall, I think if I was to give these a score out of 10, I would say they're definitely a 9, 8.5, 9. They're definitely towards the top and should certainly be on your shopping list if you're looking for a headset around about £100. So this has been the Corsair HS70 Pro. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.